Yo guys, what is up? Moxsy here, back with another Borderlands 3 video, and we are finally back, guys. For those of you that didn't know, I have been moving to my new apartment. I moved all the way from Washington, D.C. to Florida. We are finally moved in, settled in. We got everything set up, built the new PC. So there's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of improvements coming to the channel. Still working on figuring out how to use that PC, and if you guys want to hear more about the move and the PC, that'll be at the end of this video. But today we got a lot talked about, so we're going to get right into it. Today we're talking about something that all Amara players should know, and that is when and how to use Infusion, as it is a confusing skill and can either hurt us greatly or improve our gameplay a lot. And so today we're going to be talking about hidden skill interactions with Infusion and how it works. And then tomorrow, because we're doing a two-part series, I will be going into the damage values and different combos to use with Infusion. That's going to be a little more math-based. I'll show you guys what we'll be looking at. This is what we're going to be using tomorrow for the video, going through all the different damage numbers for each combo. But today we're doing the skill interactions. And this was prompted by someone in my chat that joined and said, and I said, Infusion doesn't work with normal weapons. That's non-elemental weapons. You don't heal with non-elemental weapons from Infusion. And someone said, no, you do. And I was like, no, I've tested it bazillion times. Like, Infusion doesn't heal us with sustainment. If you guys are wondering what I'm talking about, Infusion is a skill that converts our portion of our damage dealt by Amara into our action skill element, and sustainment is a lifesteal skill that whenever we do elemental damage, we get lifesteal. So you'd think that Infusion doing elemental damage with a non-elemental weapon, such as the Trick Unforgiven, would heal us. It does not, however. But people in the chat were pretty split about it being healing or it not healing. So I'll show you guys right now. It does not heal. 1446, we're hitting all of them with our bullets. We are just not healing, and we never will heal. So that made me question, why were some people healing and some people weren't? And that is due to the skill Ties That Bind. Now, Ties That Bind is an amazing skill for Amara, one of my favorites. And has a really interesting synergy with sustainment and Infusion, and I'll explain more in a second. But Ties That Bind is going to grasp a target and then link the damage that we're doing to all targets. Now, this linked damage is going to be converted into elemental damage. So if we put Ties That Bind on and we shoot someone with a Trick Unforgiven, a kinetic non-elemental weapon, all of that linked damage, that shared damage, is going to be converted into elemental damage. And this elemental damage is going to proc sustainment, and we will therefore heal every time, with every shot. As long as we have a linked target, we are going to be healing ourselves, which is crazy. So that shows that Ties That Bind is even better of a skill, because you can use any weapon you want and you will heal with it. Now, that begs the question, do we then need Infusion? Can we just heal off of Ties That Bind and sustainment? Surely not. Surely we need Infusion to heal with Ties That Bind. We'll show you guys that in a second. Alright, so we are back, and now we are not spec'd into Infusion. We have Ties That Bind, and we have sustainment. Now, will we heal with a non-elemental weapon doing non-elemental weapon just off of Ties That Bind? We're about to see. Hedge your bets right now. Place your bets, boys. Will Amara's action skill heal her with a non-elemental weapon? Yep, it does. So this is going to convert all of our shots, all of the link damage we're doing, into elemental damage. Therefore, it doesn't matter if we're spec'd into Infusion or not. We are just going to be healing off of that damage, which is crazy. And I'm glad I tested this because this is something that I didn't know. I made a video on Infusion a while ago that kind of blew up about why not to use Infusion on Amara. And that is because matching elemental weapons, so if you're spec'd into Infusion, like if I'm 5 out of 5 into Infusion using a fire elemental weapon and a cutsman, a fire elemental cutsman that has a damage over time or dot of 3,000 damage per second, this elemental damage, this fire elemental damage, because I'm using fire and using a fire weapon, is going to override this dot damage and base the dot off of a portion of the damage I'm dealing. So with Infusion on a fire weapon, with fire Infusion, my damage over time on this weapon will go from 3,000 damage per second to about like 300 or 400 damage per second, which is a crazy nerf in our damage. And a lot of people have been asking me, if this is patched, does Infusion work matching elements? Is it completely safe to spec into? It is not. Guys, right after I said that, we went and tested it. And I hadn't tested if Infusion was working properly in maybe a little bit over a week. And I can confidently say now that Infusion does not override our dot damage anymore. Infusion is no longer bugged. It is no longer broken. And for me, that feels crazy to say because I didn't think it would ever get fixed. But you guys can now spec Infusion without ever worrying about overriding your dot damage. Now, there's still bonuses and minuses to specking Infusion. It's not a perfect skill. In that video tomorrow, we'll go over that. But I'm going to leave this clip in that's about to play next of me realizing that Infusion is working properly. And yeah. I don't know if we'll ignite this guy. But as you can see, our dot is not 3,000 there. 50% less damage from Incendiary. I think Infusion is fixed. Yeah. Alright, that's not the ignite. We're looking for the ignite. 4,000, 4,000. That's high. That's really high. That is a lot higher than... That's what it should be. And we're spec'd 5 out of 5 into Infusion. Okay. So it works now. Yo guys, so that's crazy. Super happy that we figured that out. But there's still one last thing we need to talk about, guys. There's still one last really important question. And that is, so we saw that the elemental damage that Infusion does with non-elemental weapons does not heal us. And that made me wonder, does the portion of Infusion damage never heal us? That's to say, if I'm using an elemental cutsman with 5 out of 5 in Infusion, 60% of my damage is fire, 40% of my damage is shock, does that mean that 40% shock damage conversion is not healing me with sustainment? Am I only healing from my 60% damage? If that was the case, I would have to go back and still not be able to recommend Infusion. But I have tested this. I lost the clip of recording it with the old computer that I had to return. But I went into Sanctuary with a friend, and we got into a duel, and he lowered my health, and I used Infusion with sustainment, shot him once, looked at the healing that I was getting with Infusion, then took Infusion off, shot him again, and saw that the healing is the same with an elemental weapon while using Infusion. So Infusion is not going to nerf our healing with elemental weapons. It just doesn't work with non-elemental weapons. That is it for the video, guys. Today we have more on Infusion tomorrow. That's going to be all the combos and the damage numbers, when to use it, when not to use it, so you guys are more informed. But if you learned something new today, hit that like button, leave me a comment, make sure to subscribe. I know you learned something new today. I know for a fact that you learned something new today. If you didn't learn something new, you knew all of this, leave a comment saying that you did. But yeah, that's the end of the video. We're back to streaming and making videos every single day. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe for more content just like this. And I'll be talking about the PC at the end and the move. So have a good one, guys. Peace. Yo guys, so if you're interested in my new setup and the PC that we bought, I'll show that off for you guys now. So this is the new setup we're rocking. Got a little keyboard down here, mic. This is the new PC. I don't know anything about PCs. I had never built one. This was the first PC that I've ever built, and it took me 10 hours. Legitimately took me 10 hours. I sat in this room for 10 hours building that. It was a pain, but it was really cool. I learned a lot. The specs of the PC are we have a 2060 GeForce RTX, an AMD Ryzen 7 8 core. We're using a Focus 750 gold battery with Corsair Vengeance RGB Pro 16 gigabyte DDR4 3200 megahertz, Seagate 2 terabyte hard drive, got a solid state drive, all these things I didn't know. I got a lot of help building it from a guy named Sacred. He helped me out a lot. Oh, and the motherboard is an MSI X570A Pro motherboard. So that are the specs. That was our setup. The move-in was absolutely terrible. It was the biggest pain in the ass, but moving always is. But yeah, a lot of improvements coming to the channel. A lot of things are going to be happening. We're going to switch over to be playing on PC. We're going to be playing new games on PC. Lots of cool stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and peace.